that.
Great to meet
And
you.
your last
What's your
name?
name?
Joy.
Beasler.
I'm trying.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't
I
get
think-
your information.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay.
Alyssa,
No problem.
spoke with Alyssa last week, and she.
Excellent.
Yeah.
She got you into it. Exactly. We look like a lot of fun, don't we, guys? All right, guys, welcome. We are now going to be doing a wonderful little panel on how different sports translate into pickleball. What's nice today, we are very honored. We've got a lot of rock stars, superstars in the sports world. Hi, my name is Dr. Joy Macci with the Joy of Sport. And for 30 years, I've actually been blessed to span the globe as a performance coach, working with some elite and superstar athletes, including Serena and Venus Williams, Andy Roddick, Capriati, Olympic gold medalists, as well as executive sports leaders of the WTA, NBA, WWE. Then about 5 years ago, I got the old pickleball bug like you guys have gotten, and have been expanding and doing a lot of things globally as a global pickleball advisor, ambassador, and coach. Did some programs in Mexico, actually Dominican Republic, and we're going to be taking a group to Dubai and Abu Dhabi in February, so hope you guys will join us. I've also coached local, state, and national champions. So the key thing, guys, what we're going to start out with, I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of these superstars, and then I'll let them tell a little bit of their story, how they got into pickleball. First, we're going to start with Gehrig. Gehrig, can you raise your hand, sir? Aha, Mr. Gehrig. He is with football. He is a Super Bowl champion from the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm sure everybody knows him. Yes.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Matt.
He served with them for over 5 years. He was undrafted from Alabama, grew up playing all sports, and then he found out his career path was going to be football. But guess what, gang? He got hooked with pickleball. And now Gehrig is the strategic partnership coordinator with Chicken and Pickle.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Gehrig, why don't you tell us a little bit about your story?
Yeah, so got into pickleball about, I'd say, 5 or 6 years ago. I think Matt and I have pretty similar stories when it comes to pickleball and Chicken and Pickle. Just came up to Chicken and Pickle on a Friday night with some of the teammates as something to do in Kansas City. We had a great time. They took care of us. No idea what pickleball was. We played it. Just kind of played like ping pong rules. Nobody knew what they were doing. We're just kind of hitting the ball back and forth, having fun. And, one thing led to another. I think we came back a few more times during the season. After the season, got invited out by Dave Johnson and Kelly Aldridge to a charity pickleball tournament out in Smith Center, Kansas for Mitch Holtis, who's the voice of the Chiefs. Played in that, met Kelly and Dave for the first time. Dave's the owner of Chicken and Pickle, and Kelly is now the president of Chicken and Pickle. So just kind of continued to go there a few times a year. They would invite me out to charity events and kind of just whatever they could think of, and just kind of kept me involved with the company, and I appreciated that. And so 5 years passed. I kind of saw football was coming to an end, and had a conversation with them about just a role in the company. And as soon as football was done, I kind of hopped right in and kind of bounced around a few things to finally land on the strategic partnership coordinator and work with Matt here. And we have a lot of fun. We're obviously similar backgrounds coming from professional sport, right?
Yes.
Literally right from sport to working a normal job. So Chicken and Pickle's been great. I think the flexibility and being involved with my family and just kind of being a dad in general is kind of what I love most about pickleball. One, obviously they can get on the court and hit a ball and run around and kind of act how you want to act at Chicken and Pickle, which is kind of the fun part. But two, the camaraderie that you can have with somebody you never met, hopping on a court for the first time. You break the ice and it feels like you know somebody after one time you play. So that's kind of what I enjoy most about pickleball.
That is so neat, Gehrig. It's kind of like you go from the Super Bowl of football, now it's time to go for the Super Bowl of pickleball, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, good. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Matt and let him tell his
my partner,
story.
Matt Beasler. He is he's the man around Kansas City. Born and raised here in Overland Park, Kansas. Went to Notre Dame. Played 12 years for Sporting Kansas City, and then 1 year down for the Austin team is Austin FC. Austin FC. Timing-wise, almost the same. Called it quits almost 3 years ago now. 3 years ago, hopped in with Chicken and Pickle, and I'll let him finish this thing off. Matt Beasler.
Sure, thanks, Gehrig. So my background's in professional soccer. Like Gehrig said, I played 13 years in Major League Soccer here in the United States. Played 7 years for the U.S. men's national team. Got to participate in the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. Retired from playing soccer at the end of 2021, and took about 5 months off. I thought I was going to take like a full year or 2 years, but it didn't last very long, and got involved in pickleball. Like Gehrig said, I work at Chicken and Pickle, which is a company that's local here in Kansas City, and really enjoy playing. Love staying active. Love being competitive on the courts, especially with former athletes. And excited to be here and contribute.
Oh, that's very exciting, Matt. So fun. Chicken and Pickle does an amazing job. Y'all really are launching some wonderful things in even our neck of the woods in Texas. All right, speaking of Texas, let's get to a fellow Dallasite. We have Marcellus Wiley. He's another superstar in the football world. From the heart of Compton, California to the heights of Columbia University, Marcus Wiley's journey is a testament of resilience and triumph. A 10-year NFL career crowned with 3 Walter Payton Man of the Year awards. That is impressive, guys. Big time. Then he celebrated as, transitioned as a sports media broadcaster, has insightful author, and a dedicated philanthropist. Wow, he's covering the whole bases, isn't he? Ay, ay, ay. Today we can also refer to him as the proud partner and investor for California Smash Pickleball and Social Club. Ooh, we want to hear about that, Marcellus. Scheduled to open in Southern California the beginning of next year. All right, Marcellus, tell us a little bit about your journey and what fun we can look ahead.
All right. Well, thank you guys for the opportunity, the honor to be in front of you. As I look out, I see so many better athletes than me in this sport of pickleball, which is humbling. And I think the best thing about playing pickleball is the community that it brings, how all 4 corners of the room come together and have camaraderie and respect. I'm a native of Los Angeles from Compton, California. Lived there my entire life, played in the NFL 10 years. Came back home because I love LA, 4 children at home. And the thing that got me into pickleball was we were moving to a new home. And I was thinking traditional, like, oh, look at this backyard. I got some space. All right, put a basketball court back there, tennis court, let's go to war. And the contractor laughed at me. He's like, I don't think you want a tennis court. And I was like, why? He's like, just take my word for it. Put a pickleball court back there. And then that triggered me to think about all my friends that did have tennis courts, and it was nothing but a parking lot for their kids' toys, right? And I was like, that's interesting. We never play tennis when I go over, right? So I went around asking everyone for about a week because he wanted to put it in right then immediately. I said, no. I'd never heard of this sport, so you're not just going to take that. I went around for a week. No one else heard of that sport, so that's bad on me in my social circle, right? And then finally at the end, when I'm about to pull the trigger on this tennis court that's a parking lot, right, I asked 2 people who actually heard of the sport, and they swore by it, evangelists. And immediately I said, okay, that energy that they just gave off is what I want. So I took the risk, I rolled the dice, I built a court for a sport I never played before, and it was the best thing I ever did. Even better than moving into the damn house, because we use that pickleball court more than anything else at that house. We have 3 or 4 games a week, social settings. Everyone comes over, drinking dinks. We just chill. It's just fun. And for a former football player, and I'm not like Gehrig, because he can still move. I'm a different animal, right? I played 10 years in the trenches. Things were hurting. Looking forward in your athletic career post-retirement, weren't a lot of things that were exciting, not a lot of things that were tantalizing. Basketball, didn't want to get hurt, too taxing. Tennis, pretty difficult to find a group, your level. But pickleball met me where I was, and now I'm so excited to compete every single day playing the sport of pickleball. So it's really translated into a lot of opportunities. I'm having conversations of opening up several pickleball centers, including California Smash, which will be opening up this year in El Segundo, California. We're going to have 8 pickleball courts, food and beverage, kind of a mini chicken and pickle. We're going to have fun with that. Partnerships in owning teams, opportunities to be a part of pickleball in a grander scale. So really excited because I love this sport almost as much as I love football. All right.
Oh, my goodness. That's quite a story. Impressive. You're probably saying, pickle what? Exactly.
Exactly. I was like, no. I said, put the court back there if you pay for it. I mean, other than that, give me some time.
All right, guys. Next, we're going to switch to the basketball world a little bit. We have Dave Davlin. All right. You know, from capturing audiences with dazzling basketball performances and breaking a Guinness World Record. That's impressive. What was that for? What was that?
I actually spun 12 basketballs on my body at the same time in 1990 for 7.97 seconds.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. Well, Dave has seamlessly transitioned to inspiring corporate audiences, now as a dynamic keynote speaker, as you can probably guess. An innovative creator, he brings the outside-the-box imagination to pickleball with his, your revolutionary training device called Spot On. You have to tell us a little bit about that. Helping players get better faster. Dave's unique approach draws parallels between basketball and pickleball, emphasizing agility, strategy, and the joy of the game. Tell us a little more, Dave. What about your story, and what do you?
Well, when I moved into entertaining with basketballs, I had a basketball in my hand so often that I didn't play anymore because I didn't want to be on the court. So I started getting into competitive golf and started playing on the AM Tour. And then my wife and I moved into a community in San Marcos, Texas that now has 18 private pickleball courts. And so a lot of people say when they got into the game, I loved it when I first played it. I couldn't stand it. I thought it was boring. Until a lady came across the street and said, hey, there's a big pickleball tournament coming to these courts. I want you to be my mixed doubles partner. And I said, well, I don't even know how to keep score. She said, I will teach you. We have 3 months. Well, we won silver in our first one, and I fell in love with it. And from that point on, it has taken over my life. I have played, as a competitive golfer, I played all the time. Since pickleball came along, I've played 1 round of golf in 2 years. And so
goodness,
that's how much I got the bug.
That is so neat.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. Was there anything else that going? Tell us a little bit about your Spot On. What is your Spot On?
Well, when I was performing with the basketballs, I would go and perform for a lot of kids and their families, things like that. So every kid wanted to spin a basketball on their finger. So I invented a product called Sport Spinner, which would allow a kid to simulate spin a basketball on his finger. And so after my show, we would sell a ton of those things. So when I got into pickleball, I told my wife, this is the ground floor. If I'm going to do something to invent something, I should do it now. So I began experimenting with some things. I had a lady from my neighborhood just build me a paddle cover with a hole cut out of it. And I said, maybe this will make the sweet spot smaller, maybe more precise, but it had enough weight to it that when I took it off, my hands were like lightning, like the baseball donut. So I took it to my wife, and I told her about it, and she said, you think it's your imagination? I said, why don't you try it? And she came back, and she said, I know exactly what you mean. So it has helped my game so much. I'm in my 60s now, and I'm playing with kids in their 20s, and my hands are faster than theirs are. Wow. And it's just all because this device I've developed, and it was kind of a freak thing. I didn't intend for it to do that. That was secondary, but it took over as the primary reason to increase your hand speed.
That is so interesting. We have to take a look at that.
Sure.
Thank you. All right, we're going to now switch to the old baseball world. Okay, we have Kramer Sneed. Pretty much Kramer was a baseball all-star turned pickleballer. He was drafted by the New York Yankees in 2010 and traded to LA Angels in 2013. Same year, he was a California all-star and champion. Then in 2015, Atlanta League champion. That's pretty impressive, sir. MLB experience and a 4-year collegiate coaching experience. In 2023, he took over as pickleball manager. See from his shirt? I think it's the barbecue, right? Oh, yeah, in Parkville, which he enjoys, also running tournaments, coaching, and playing. So tell us a little bit, Kramer, about your story.
All right, so it was a minor league baseball career. I did not make it to the big leagues, so I have a lot of respect for these guys over here that did make it to the top of their profession. I didn't quite get there, but pickleball became my new passion that I had been searching for about 5 years after I got done playing baseball. I think all these guys can attest to it. When you play a sport at a very high level, and then you're done, it's really hard to find what's that next thing, because you spend so much time, effort, sweat, blood, tears, all that stuff. And it's really funny that it landed on pickleball for me. I thought it'd be coaching, but pickleball has really been that competitive edge. Like Marcellus said, I don't know about you guys, but I can have fun losing in pickleball for 3 hours. But if I get my butt kicked on the golf course, I'm not forgetting about that for 3 weeks. And I think that's your best friends because, hey, you're a really good left side player. I'm left-handed. Let's be partners, right? Let's find a good mixed doubles partner, whatever it is. I just think that's the passion I found with pickleball, and Charbar gave me an outlet to do it as a profession. I'm very proud of that. Obviously, Chicken and Pickle, if anybody's from KC knows we're kind of competitors, but I think there's room in this world for all of us. And that's what's really cool is I've played in tournaments at Chicken and Pickle. I've seen a ton of Chicken and Pickle gear worn as people play at Charbar. And I think that's the amazing growth of this sport in a very small nutshell. And I think that's what's really exciting and is what makes me excited about the future. And, yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. So.
That is so cool. All right, guys, let's kind of put on your little sports athlete superstar hats on and say, what would you say, how did your sport translation, what skills did you use that helped you really move to the next level with your pickleball? Let's start with Dave and then just go back down the line. You guys can share a little bit about your...
You know, when I was asked to be on this panel, I just sat down one day and thought I'm going to make some notes, and within 5 minutes, I had so much material, there's no way I'm going to remember this. So I actually
your next
wrote...
book?
What's that?
Is that your next book?
It possibly could be, yeah. I won't do a book for you today, I promise. But the thing I liked about it so much that was different than the golf I was playing is that it was a reactionary sport. In golf, in order to be good, you are taught to keep the lower body still and rotate the upper body, and that's basically what you do. But in pickleball, it was so much like basketball that you had to react to certain things. And I'll just tell you some of the things that I wrote down here. The hand speed in pickleball. Basketball, it correlates so much. If you can have great hand speed, it actually offsets your lack of foot speed, which was the case for me. Also, court positioning, balance and footwork. The use of misdirection in pickleball is incredible. In basketball, the same thing. You get a team leaning in a certain direction, make a cross-court pass. It's so effective. One thing I thought was really interesting about basketball that correlated is there is a section of the court where you are limited in what you can do in there. In basketball, of course, it's the 3-second lane. You can be in there as long as you're rebounding or shooting, but as soon as that stops, you have to get out. Well, of course, in pickleball, we have the non-volley zone. There's a lot of things you can do in there, but you can't volley a ball. You can be in there as much as you want. You can take a ball off the ground, but it is an area that you have to respect, just like you do in basketball with the 3-second lane. And I think one of the best things that I really noticed was peripheral vision. As a point guard in basketball, my peripheral vision was such a great tool for me to be able to off-look somebody one direction, pass the ball the other direction, or be able to tell what was going on in the court just by looking straight ahead. Pickleball, I find the same thing is true, especially in the hand battles. You don't have time to watch the ball back and forth. You've got to use your peripheral to know where that ball is going to be and get your paddle in that position. And I think that was really important. And just a couple of more, I don't want to take up a lot of the time, but you know, in pickleball, we have role players. You have a person who sets it up, the guy that can kill it. Basketball, you had the point guard. You had the guy that was the shooting guard. You had the big man, the rebounder. You had, in the 70s at least, when I was watching basketball, you had the enforcer who could take care of stuff on the court, you know, if there's any problems. But the strategies I thought were really interesting, that in basketball you had things like the pick and roll, the pick and pop. You had the trap and the zone. And in pickleball you have the driving crash, the dropping crash, the stack, return the ball across court usually means you're going to get it back. Just a lot of strategies like that. There was just so many things that when I sat down and started thinking about it, I could just go on and on about the correlations.
That is so true, Dave. Gosh, thank you so much for sharing that. Good. Why don't you pass your thing over to Kramer? What do you think, sir?
Yeah, so I won't repeat what he said, but I agree with all of it. For me, the biggest thing, coming from a pitching background, I thought of the game of baseball as a chess match. If I could set hitters up, I could get them out. And I feel like pickleball is the same way. It's a chess match. The way I hit my serve is going to make your return go one way, and the point evolves from there with my third shot drop, drive, or lob. And I think that's something that I really, really enjoy is not only the competitiveness, but also setting up a point and then executing that point as well. well. And I think that really correlated for me personally from a baseball perspective of that chess match that can happen on the pickleball court, especially as you get to the higher levels and you have longer points. I think that's a really fun part of I'm not just hitting a ball back over the net. Where am I placing it? Why am I placing it there? Why am I picking on this opponent as opposed to their partner? That kind of thing. And that's been the really fun part for me is the mental side of the game, because that was and is a big part of the game of baseball as well.
So true. Gehrig, how about you, sir?
Yes, two great answers. Coming from football background, I think being a receiver, having soft hands, I think soft hands translates over pretty well, and I think all of us can kind of go to the footwork and the agility of a professional athlete, what they have, and how much that translates onto a court. I'm a big-time trash talker when I play pickleball, so I think like the mental aspect of the game, like being able to go back and forth with somebody, and like you could tell it's like really like getting to them pretty good, and that's like something I specialize in. So I love the guys. I might be better, but I think the mental game was definitely underrated.
Exactly. How about you, Matt?
Well, I can attest to his trash talking game. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Soccer background. So soccer's an endurance sport. It has a lot of different aspects, but endurance is one of the biggest aspects. I think that's probably what stood out to me most when I started playing was that I typically don't get tired, and some of the longer points, some of the strategies that I use, like every time a point's over, like I try and go and grab the ball as quickly as possible and go back to the line, just because that's my edge of the endurance. And it's like I'm gonna go. Whether I win or lose the point, I'm gonna just keep that body language high and just never show that I'm tired. The other thing that I'll say is that in soccer, as a defender, I was always trying to read the intention of the opponent. And so I was always trying to take cues for what my opponent was trying to do. Where are their eyes? Where are their hips? Where's the ball? Where's their paddle? Where are they in relation to the net? You're trying to analyze and take in everything that the opponent's trying to do and what their intentions are. And you're basically trying to read that and anticipate that. And that was a skill that I learned in soccer, of being able to anticipate where the ball's going to go so that I could take maybe a step or two in one direction. That would allow me to go and make the play. I think pickleball is the same way. Obviously, you still make the incorrect decisions sometimes. We're starting to see that in pickleball. People are starting to disguise their shots, which is kind of a new technique. But I think that's the reason why, because people are starting to pick up on the intentions. Marcellus?
All right, good stuff. I didn't take any notes because I played defensive end in the NFL, and there was nothing that translated to the game of pickleball unless you want to get tackled, right? Unless you want to get slammed.
Love your honesty.
No, actually, I'm going to come at it from a different perspective. I know a lot of guys that retire from the game of football, battered, beat up, bruised, and it leads to them looking at their forward athletic life in despair, like, man, the best is behind me. All my highlights are behind me. And pickleball has excited not just me, but so many other former football players, especially in the trenches where, your fingers turn out like this, and that's me trying to say hello, and they go to sideways, etc. So holding the paddle is a little interesting at times. But when you talk about the X's and O's of football, like football is a game of skill, but a greater game of will. Like I'm moving another human being against their will down this field, right? And they don't want to go that way. Well, I've learned that in pickleball, the strategy, like how you conceptualize it the same, is really to your advantage if you can do that. It's not about manpower as much. It's about using that brain power and between the ears more so than just the muscles. I love that part of it. I also love how the 8-year-old and the 80-year-old are on the same level playing field. Like I was just in a tournament at home, and I was with my son. He was just watching. And my partner and I, we were losing every single game. And that's not my partner's fault. It's me, right? So we're losing every single game. And then my son just comes in because he wants to play. And we didn't lose a game together because, in part, people had their training wheels on. Oh, look at this little 8-year-old. And he was wearing them out. And so by the time they made the switch, too late. He's confident. Uncle Mo's on his side, and he was just destroying people. And I love that. Like, it's so inviting. Like, to a certain point, other sports, no matter how good you are, you got to be great. Or even if you're great, you still don't always make it. And it's just – pickleball is just so open, and that's what I like about it. It's just a different way of approaching athletics.
Oh, that is a beautiful way to say. That's the beauty of the sport. There's so many things unique about pickleball. The passion, the people, the play, everything that goes about it makes it oh so very special. But one thing we wanted to do also is give the audience, you guys, a little time. If you have any questions for any of our panelists about, how the different sports or what their lives might do to help you improve your pickleball. Anything out there?
Don't be shy.
I know,
Don't be
they're
shy guy.
shy. Well, if they are, let's go ahead and finish up then. What is one special thing? What was your super sauce? I think I throw that from that. I love that. What was your super sauce? What's one thing you love most about pickleball? What's your secret sauce on the one thing you love most?
My fake answer is
Okay.
it's like all right, I'm a
Give
big
us
Charger
both
fan.
answers.
I used to play for the Chargers, and they're in L.A. Crazy story. Like, I started playing football at age 8 at a park that was directly across from Hollywood Racetrack, which was torn down to build SoFi Stadium where the Chargers play. So long story short, at 8, I used to look at the place that now I go and watch for the team I used to play for. So it's like crazy. I cry every time I go to the damn stadium. It's weird. But football, I used to get jealous. And it happened at Arrowhead the most. Because when you pull in the Arrowhead, you got to kind of like go down that little road and you see nothing but smoke and red T-shirts, right? And it's the biggest tailgate ever. And you got on your headphones and you're trying to lock in and be this focused football player. But you're like, damn, they partying out here and I'm about to go to war. And pickleball, no lie, I have that joy of tailgating but still playing and competing. Wow. Like in the NFL, it'll be like you tailgated and actually played too. And it's never happening, right?
Yeah.
But in pickleball, you can actually blend those two energies. And I love it. Like, all doing this together, it's just a different spirit animal.
That's
love
true.
it.
That's the beauty of pickleball. Good. Matt, what do you think, sir?
I don't know if I have much to add. I like that pickleball is, in my opinion, it's not a very technical game. There's a lot of strategy involved, but I think it's more about positioning and placement, and like everybody said, it's about being social and enjoying yourself. And so I think the entry level's fairly low, at least compared to other sports. I always find it funny observing and watching tennis players come over and play pickleball. Obviously, I mean, they've got great skills, and a lot of them translate very quickly and very well, but in a lot of ways, I'm glad that I never had a tennis background, because I think in some ways I never played tennis before, because I think if you've played tennis before, it is such a technical game, and your technique has to be right, and the top spin, and pickleball is the opposite to me. And I think it would be very frustrating if you came from that tennis background and you're expecting to hit certain shots, and it's just a different type of shot. And so I just love the openness of it. You pick up a paddle and a ball, and you have no experience, and you can still hit the shots that you need to hit to be competitive.
Yeah, you're so right on that, Matt. Pickleball takes a minute to learn, but a lifetime to master. We always have to keep working on it. And myself, coming from a tennis background, I know we're used to Igor King Kong, kill ball and create spin and do all of these things with the ball. But in the pickleball, you don't have time. You have a little paddle and a little plastic ball and a very small court, so you don't have the time to do that. So you have to set up the angle and do things a little bit differently. All right, what do you think, Garrett?
I think the coolest thing about pickleball is anybody can play. That's what's fun about working at Chicken and Pickle. We have people of all abilities coming out. We have all ages, no matter what. And that's something that excites me. I think that's what kind of separates it from a lot of sports. I mean, you have Taylor, who's in a wheelchair, can come out and play pickleball.
Yeah.
You have, I mean, you can literally name any ability and come out and play. And that's what excites me about the game. And I love sandbagging. I love going to tournaments. I love going against a couple guys that sandbag, that maybe never like played a sport, and they got to kind of go play down a couple levels to win. I always think that's pretty funny. I enjoy it. I talk. Matt will attest. I talk about it a lot, but and hypothetically, I love losing to like 12-year-olds, like me and me and another teammate Noah Gray played in a PPA tournament down in Florida last year.
Yeah.
Right after the Super Bowl, Noah came kind of right off the field onto the court, and we lost to some 12-year-olds. It was kind of humbling. It was pretty humbling, but that's what excites me. It's fun. Like, those kids are having their best time. They're playing a sport that they kind of just grew up on, and it's exciting.
That's awesome. Okay.
Just on that, I think the combination of being as competitive as you want to be, but also as social as you want to be, is what excites me and why I know this sport is here to stay. So I'll keep it very, very simple at that. Yeah. I love competing, but I love stepping on the court and socializing with 365-year-olds too, and then them kicking my butt as well. So I think that's the best part of it too.
65, whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly.
With me, I love the aspect that it's still a reactionary sport, that as you get older, you can compete with other people. When I was playing golf, of course, like I said, it was a very stationary sport, and you go on that first tee, you got people watching, you get that feeling in your stomach. I love that. But I couldn't go out and compete with 20-year-olds in basketball anymore. And I remember one day a guy asked me, he said, "Dave, why don't you come play with us? We're going to play on Sunday night at this court." And I said, I don't really play anymore. I'm handling the basketball so much. He said, "Hey, it's just a bunch of guys. It's just fellowship." I showed up. It was all college kids. And that part of your brain that says, don't do this, but that other part of you says, I'm going to show this kid, you don't know who I used to be. And by the time it's over, you wish you had. I remember I came home that night. My calves were so tight, I thought I had actually ruptured my Achilles.
Gosh.
But in pickleball, you can walk onto a court with 20-year-olds and you can wipe the floor with them. And I love that aspect of it. And that's probably the favorite thing about it to me.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. All right, guys. Anybody in the audience have any other questions? Oh, we got a question. Please help. Number one piece of advice for someone.
This is going to sound, I'll probably have two. First of all, is have a good time, because that's what it's all about. We take it serious, and these guys are athletes. They're competitive. But at the end of the day, it's just a game, and you can lose friends over it. I was just thinking, if I'm playing with Marcellus, there's no eye rolling going on my side, because I know I'm looking at Marcellus over there. But, you can lose friends like that by being too competitive. So in the beginning, especially before you get into tournaments, have fun with it, and just let it be what it is to you.
Absolutely.
Be patient. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be patient with your game.
I always enjoy playing with better people. I think that's the easiest way to learn the game is play with people that actually know how to play versus kind of people that are all just getting started. That way you have a decent strategy and you kind of know how the game's set up.
Yep.
Make sure you can get your serve inbounds. Serve doesn't matter. You just got to get it in.
Yeah.
Best advice in the beginning, I actually disagree. It's not a game. It is a sport. And you have to treat it like a sport, or you can get hurt. And a lot of people get hurt because they don't treat it like a sport. They just think, I'll just go play checkers, Connect Four, and then pickleball. Nah, like something's going to give, And I've seen some people, unfortunately, succumb to that. And adding to the last question, I just want to add this. And there's an ego involved in all the sports. There are different times. Look, we've all been to college. We've all been to the high school party, and the athletes walk in, and there's this pecking order hierarchy. It just builds itself. And I remember being in college and looking at all these kids who weren't on the football team, basketball team, still playing a lot, called intramurals. Remember that? And we were like, why are you in the gym more than me, and I'm on the real team, and you're on the intramural team? Then I get into the real world, and I'm playing NFL football, and I'm like, who are these weekend warriors? Like, who raises their hand to play basketball and football this damn much and don't get paid for it? And then pickleball hits, and it made me realize that finally there is a professional sport that is going to have the same ego and esteem as all of those kids who were playing intramural sports, who always felt a little JV to the other guys playing the varsity sport. Pickleball is like, okay, You don't have to be the best athlete in the world. You can be who you are and still master this game. It takes a lifetime, as you said. But this is the first sport I said, okay, those weekend warriors and intramural players have their world. They have their sport, and it's taking over. And they wear me out because it's payback time now. I love it.
Oh, that's so true. All right, gang. Well, thank you guys very much. You guys have done a great job. Thank you guys for coming out. Anyway, have a wonderful